Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from TrueOffMyChest. Our first post is by Free Tour. I'm leaving my disabled boyfriend, who saved my life at the cost of his own. 3 years ago, my boyfriend and I were walking down a wet and busy road on holiday in Thailand when a car swerved at a violent speed, trying to avoid a stupid biker stopping on his phone in the treacherous weather that it was. My boyfriend, being the quick-thinking man he is, saw my frozen, terrified body in the direct vicinity of the moving car, and he jumped in front of me, pushing me away from the impact. At the same time, I was left with some nasty grazes, but other than that I was fine. My boyfriend was left paralyzed from the waist down. He now lives life in his wheelchair. He has been diagnosed with PTSD from the accident and often has flashbacks in which he'll scream and sweat. He is distant and cold. His mental health is, to put it lightly, very bad. He spends most of his time on his PlayStation, and we haven't been physically intimate for months. If he's not playing games, he'll be at the pub with his mates. He does cocaine with them. He says he can't enjoy sex anymore. He says he doesn't enjoy sex with being the way he is. I've tried to tell him I still think he's gorgeous and no attraction is lost. He doesn't believe me. He has gained about 4 stone and finds no value in healthy life choices anymore. I feel like I'm living with my best friend, who I'm in love with, but like I'm in some sort of friend zone. He says I'm being paranoid. It's him, not me. He tells me he loves me. He has tried therapy. He has made an attempt to not do cocaine on the weekends. He doesn't want to do it. I have tried to encourage him to do both many times. He says he doesn't resent me. All of my friends talk about how lucky I am and how he loves me so much, but I think that's effed up because they have no idea what it's like to be in a partnership with someone who is paralyzed. My feelings are just as strong for him as they are when I fell in love with him, but I can't do it anymore. I am exhausted. I will forever be known as the woman who left her disabled boyfriend after he saved her life at the cost of his own. Our next post is by Japoy. My daughter has befriended a girl who is dying. So, a little backstory here. We have a friend and her daughter, we'll call her A, has osteosarcoma bone cancer. I was talking with the friend and she told me that A only has about 3 months left. I offer to help move stuff around and bring some food over. I decide to bring my daughter to keep A company. They hit it off instantly. They talked for hours, and I ended up bringing my daughter over again the next day. Now about my daughter. She is sweet, sassy, and compassionate. Unfortunately, last year she was getting bullied quite a lot. This led to self-harm and a visit to the psychiatric ward. She is doing much better this year, but I am concerned. She doesn't half-ass her love. Like me, she dives headfirst into new relationships. She loves deeply and fully. This is where the concern comes in. A got cancer during COVID. She has not been in school since. As a result, she has lost all her friends. The very last thing I want to do is take away a dying child's only friend. I won't do it, but I am worried. I told my daughter on the way home what is going on. She understands, but like the amazing person she is, she decided to set up more playdates, gave her one of her favorite stuffed animals, and is currently working on a painting for her. She is honestly one of the best people I know. I feel really stupid worrying about my daughter when my friend is going to lose hers soon. Has anyone dealt with something similar? Any advice would be appreciated. Edit. Wow, thank you all for your kind words and beautiful stories. Just wanted to clear some things up. I would never keep them apart or try to dissuade this friendship. I cannot think of a more kind thing to do for another human being. I am just worried about the aftermath of how this friendship is going to end. Also, I'm a dad. In the comments below, Anita Angelo writes, I was your daughter as a child. My mom was a nurse and had a patient, Gila, with leukemia. Gila's dad wasn't able to handle the cancer, so her parents divorced. Due to her cancer, she wasn't able to go to school. It was just her and her mom. Gila and I were the same age, so my mom, after much thought, introduced us. Gila and I had a 2-year friendship. We had sleepovers, talked about our dreams, boys, etc. When I was 11, it was obvious that she wasn't going to make it. My mom took me to her isolation room at the hospital. Again, we were 11-year-old girls and enjoyed spending time together. I remember my mom telling me she was real sick, and I remember visiting her. I don't remember if my mom told me that this was the last time I would see her alive. I remember the day I came home from school and mom told me she didn't make it. The first funeral I went to was Gila. Over the years, my mom and I have discussed Gila. Mom was never sure about her decision to introduce us until I was an adult and able to tell her thank you. My friendship with Gila was awesome, and it was a natural, gentle way to learn about compassion and death. Mom did it because she felt like I would be good for Gila. In reality, Gila was good for me. If your daughter wants to be friends with A, please let her. Hopefully she will have the experience I did. OP's daughter is like a ray of sunshine in A's life, bringing warmth and friendship. And from what we see in the comments, friendships like these can sometimes bring in positive influence, and it's heartwarming to see the lasting value of such friendships. Our next post is by Interesting Sock. Found out today that after 28 years, I'm completely disposable. I have been with my husband since 1995, or was with him since 1995, going on 29 years. My entire life has been wasted. I just found out that my husband, who I loved, the one that I had to get over a ridiculous amount of deep-seated childhood trauma in order to trust, it was pointless. For a week, I kept getting this sick feeling, and something was telling me to check his phone. I don't do that, so I ignored it, and that urge, whatever it was, kept getting stronger, and so I finally did. It physically made me sick. I've never felt so worthless, disposable, unloved in my life. I really think I would feel better if he'd actually been meeting someone and having an old-fashioned, cheap sex affair. He's been being catfished for about the last month. It took 3 seconds and a reverse image search to find 14 more profiles on every platform, including some online escort sites. The sweet, caring, and loving messages he sent her, that's what I wanted more than anything. I've been trying so damn hard to be more laid back. I'm a type A with an anxiety disorder, to be more supportive, less critical, and more patient. I even told him, I know I can be short and pushy sometimes, but I'm making a conscious effort to be less stressed and cause less stress. He accepted my apology. I've been doing as I promised. But now I don't know why. What was the point? He knows my trauma came from not so much the beatings as a kid, but the mind games my father would play while kicking my ass. One of his favorites was "Nobody loves you, they never have, never will, you'll grow up one day, and even your husband will figure out he could have done better." I don't like going into detail about everything from back then, but that I explained clearly and told him I couldn't handle being made to feel that my father had been right. I told him, if you want to step out, man up and tell me what's going on. I could handle that. It would hurt, but it would be better than being blindsided with the realization that my father had been right. He told me he wouldn't do that if he even thought about it. He'd leave me first. He didn't do that. My love language has always been small trinkets. I'm happy with a card. Just a little something that says, "I was thinking about you when I saw this." That tiny little thing once or twice a month and I'd be over the moon. It's been a few months now since I got one, but I saw where he's transferred the catfish $545 since July 26th. She got the sweetest messages just to reply, "Okay, love you," so he send more money. Why am I not good enough? I try and be a friend I'd want. I try and help as many people as I can because I know the feeling of not having help and feeling abandoned. I can't do that to anyone. I'm not a saint or perfect by any means, but I couldn't do that to anyone, especially him. I feel so dumb. He did exactly what he promised not to do. I feel like everything was sucked out of my chest cavity the second all the air left the room. WTF did I do that this is my punishment? My life has been wasted. I even messaged her and asked did she know about me. I felt that I needed to know that. She did. She said it didn't matter though because it was just money, no feelings were involved. Mine were though. I always thought I'd rather have a bad day with him than a great day with someone else. I guess he did not concur after all. I know it sounds insane, but I feel like I would have rather had my ass beaten than this. I was tossed like garbage for nothing at all. He proved my father right all these years later. I couldn't went my entire life without admitting he was right, just wanted to vent. I don't know what to do from here. I apologize in my advance for the spelling and grammatical errors that I'm sure plague this post. I couldn't go back and proofread. I'm afraid I'll lose it, and I'll be a blubbering idiot while he's in the house. I can't do that right now. I don't have anyone to talk to be able to wrap my head around anything. My entire life has been wasted. I did it all for nothing. It was just a lie. And I was so damn stupid, I never even suspected anything. Thanks for letting me whine. I don't feel better, but I'm over the first hurdle of letting someone know. I hope you all have happy days. If someone loves you, hug them tight. Your abusive father was not right. Unfortunately, these situations occur in a significant number of long-term marriages, often triggered by midlife crises and other factors. Whether you decide to continue with your husband or not, it's essential to recognize that this situation is not a result of your abusive father's past actions. Long-term love has its ups and downs, and it can be challenging for all of us to sustain it. Our next post is by Throwaway. The woman my husband left me for is pregnant, and I'm not handling it well. I am 36F, husband is 37M. My husband and I have been together for about 14 years. For the most part, our marriage has been absolutely wonderful. That changed about 2 years ago. After trying for a baby for years, we decided to seek out a fertility clinic. After many tests, it was concluded that I was the problem. I don't want to get into it, but I'm unable to carry a child. It sent me into a pretty deep depression. My husband was wonderful throughout the entire thing. He gave me the space I needed to grieve and be sad. After about 3 months, he brought up getting a surrogate or adoption. I lost it, and during the argument, I accused him of blaming me. A couple of days later, he suggested I go to therapy, which I did. I was diagnosed with depression and put on medication. This severely impacted my libido. It's basically non-existent. He eventually sat me down and explained his needs. I told him I understood, but I can't give him sex or intimacy right now. It blew up into a huge fight. I accused him of caring more about sex. He said he cares about me, but I cannot expect him to go without either. In anger, he said, I might as well just find it somewhere else, and in anger, I told him to go ahead. That's where the distance between us got bad. He basically stopped trying, and we pretty much stopped talking. I eventually found out that he was having an affair. When I confronted him, he didn't deny it, but didn't seem remorseful about it either. I told him I wanted him out, and he left. A couple of days later, I was served with divorce papers. Well, now I'm finding out the woman he left me for, the same one he had the affair with, is pregnant. I'm not handling this well. I plan on talking to my therapist about it, but I'm in a bad place right now. I just needed to vent. Thanks for listening. In the comments, Queen Legolas writes, you need to start by not calling him your husband. He isn't anymore. Seriously, you were on medication for your health. It's not your fault your libido went down. He was an asshole to you. Do you have a support system, friends, family? Delete him from your contacts and don't ever look at him again. You won't heal otherwise. He can do whatever he wants. This is about you. You'll heal, feel better, and I'm sure in no time you'll find someone else, someone way better, someone who won't walk away from you during your time of need. The vows are for better or for worse. Clearly he didn't mean them since he was fine for 14 years, but when things got worse, he bailed on you. I completely agree with Queen Legolas. It's essential for OP to redefine her self-worth and prioritize their own healing and happiness right now, surrounding themselves with a support system of friends and family who truly care about her. Removing the X from OP's life, both physically and digitally, can be a crucial step in moving forward and regaining their sense of self. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.